Hello, Sergio. Good evening.
Hello, Bruna. Good evening.
How are you doing today?
I'm great, and you?
I'm great too, thank you. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had some problems with my computer. I had
Ah,
to reset it, but now it's working. So
don't
I
wor-
apologize for that.
no, no, don't worry. I just arrived from the
Ah,
job right now, so we're in the same time.
ah, so it's okay. I'm glad for that. And hello, Liliana. Good evening.
Hello, Bruna, Sérgio.
Hello,
Good evening.
Eliana. Good evening.
Hello. How you doing, Liliana?
I'm fine. And
Hi.
you?
I'm fine too, thank you. I think this class you will like it a lot because you work with numbers. So we will talk about numbers again in this class. So let me show you the
Okay.
class right now. Just a moment. So this class, we will talk about metric units and dimensions. Remember that last class, we talked about whole numbers and the fraction, the decimal numbers like 1.5, 1.05. So today we will talk about these units and dimensions that we can use with these specific numbers. And to start with, let me show you here, we have the metric system here. So we have some metric units here on the left side, and we have the groups, okay, the measures that we use. For example, we have length, we have width, we have height, weight, thickness, volume, pressure, and temperature. So when we talk specifically about these metrics like weight and length, we have some metric units that we can use it. So as you can see, we have here on the left side these metric units, okay? So I'm gonna read each one of them, so pay attention to the pronunciation, all right? We have PSI, we have degrees Celsius, kilograms, kilopascal, liter, inches, millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers, tons, cubic meters, foot or feet, bar, pounds, degrees Fahrenheit, micrometers, and percent. Okay. So, for example, when we talk about PSI specifically, so in which group, Williana, can we use PSI? When we use PSI, we talked about what?
I think pressure.
Yes, that's right. So this is a unit we can use to talk about pressure. Exactly. And what about degrees Celsius, Rosanna?
Um, Temperature.
Yes. So when we talk about temperature, that's the unit we use. And what about kilograms, Sergio?
Probably is the weight.
That's right, weight. So we use the kilograms. And we have kilopascal. What do you think, Williana?
Kilo Pascal. Is pressure too?
Pressure too. Yes, exactly. Pressure too. And here we have liter. So, Rosanna, when we talk about liter, we talked about what?
Mm,
What do you
I
think?
I think it's high. I don't know.
Height. Height. Actually, is a different one. Think about when we say, for example, 2 liters of water.
Ah, okay. Violon.
Yes, that's right. So we are talking about volume when we talk about liter. And we have this specific one, inches. Do you know what is inches, Sérgio?
I think it's the height.
Height. Actually, no, it's a
No,
different one. Actually, no. Do you
no,
know the translation of this word, inches?
no, I don't remember.
So this is gonna help you. Inches is like polegadas.
Ah, okay.
Mm,
Inches. So when we talk about inches, are we talking about what?
With it,
With it? Yeah, it can be, but we have a specific one.
length,
When we talk about thickness,
thickness. Ah, okay,
mm,
okay, yeah,
okay.
we
Yes.
can talk about with it too, no problem. But since it's something really small, a really small unit, we used to talk about the thickness because usually an object, the thickness of an object, it's normally like really little, like small. So we use inches in this case. Okay.
Okay.
But we have the millimeters. We use in three different groups. This is why we have the number three here. So, Williana, in which group do you think we use this specific unit?
Millimeters.
Yes.
Mm, length, width,
Yes.
and weight. Maybe the
Yes.
three
Length. What did you say next?
width,
Width
and weight.
and weight.
Weight.
And actually, thickness.
Okay, thickness.
We
Mm.
can also use this one. Okay. But you got it right. Length,
Uh,
width, and
but
thickness.
eight is altura, não?
Height, altura. Isso aí. Height, altura. Mas, no geral,
Depend
não
of
que.
the object that I
Yeah.
measure. Maybe I use millimeter for weight. The
Yes.
small object, maybe.
Yeah, if it's really small, you can use to talk about the height using millimeters. Okay, you can use it as well, no problem. Okay, we just put the millimeters in the thickness because it's something that is usually used, but it's not impossible to talk about height using millimeters too. Okay, so it's also correct, Juliana.
Okay.
And what about meters, Rosana?
meters. I think the length.
The length? Yes, we can talk about the length using millimeters, centimeters, sorry. And we have some other option here that we can use the centimeters. Sergio, do you know what else we can put centimeters?
I think the with it.
The width. That's right, the width. Correct. And as Williana say, if you're talking about height, you can also use centimeters. It's not so common, but it's not impossible to use it. Okay.
Okay.
And what about meters, Williana?
Height.
Height, correct. We can use to talk about height. And we have two other groups we can use.
Depende, depende the concept. Because millimeters, centimeter, and meters is unity. I can measure all using
Everything.
the unity. Okay. Não translate. Eu transformo, né? Change the
I
units. For example, my high is 150 150 centimeters or 1.6 meters.
yeah, you can change the unit. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
You
right.
you be higher with meters.
I am a small girl. I'm a
but
short girl.
but is this true? 1 and 50. You said about your
One
height?
point, 1.1 50, 50?
50.
1.5. 1.5. 1 meter and
Oh,
and a
1.5.
half.
oh my
Uh,
God. Yeah, 1 meter and a half. So this is
so
your height.
depende the measure, the use of.
Yes, you are right,
But meters
Juliana.
may be high, okay? May be high. If I think uh, the uh, the objects um, not small, big object.
Yeah, big objects. That's
Uh,
right. When we talk about millimeters, centimeters, and meters, as Juliana said, we can use to talk about many things. We can just change and use it. Here is just an exemplification to see how we can use it. Okay, but so don't worry about that, Juliana. But we can change, as you said. So whatever we need, we can change it here. So we use meters to talk about length. Okay, you said height, and we have another one that we can use too.
with it.
Width. Yes, that's right. Width, height. So usually we use meters, but we can use different units too. Okay. And what
Uh,
about kilometers? So kilometers we can use with many things, but here we will just put in one group. So what group do you think it could be, Sergio?
Difficult one. Kilometers, because I don't know. Uh, maybe if the high, if you have a great grower,
Yes, we can
Yes.
say it has kilometers. These are
okay,
specific.
maybe I don't know. Maybe the high.
Yes, can be used with high, and also it's common to be used with length, com comprimento.
Okay,
Uh, because sometimes we have, for example, the pipeline is 200 kilometers long. So
okay.
it's not impossible to use with height, like you said, but usually we
Oh,
used
usually
to
is
talk
length.
about
Okay,
length.
it's more
Yes.
normal.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about tones, Rosana? Do you know what is tones?
Uhum. Toneladas?
Mm,
Yes.
that's right.
Ok. Kilograms.
Weight. Yes, we used
Wait.
to talk about weight. Okay, so we have kilograms, we have tons, and we have this specific unit, cubic meters. Cubic meters. So, Maria, are you there? Yeah. So, Maria, tell me, we have these units here, and we are talking now about cubic meters. Do you know what is cubic meters?
Cubic years.
Like in Portuguese. It looks like the word we have in Portuguese.
Cubic meters não é quilogramas não, né?
Think about it. Meters, you know what it is. And cubic.
Uhum. É,
Sorry.
language.
Language
Hum,
or length? Did you say length? Cubic
I don't,
meters. Sorry?
I don't know, know.
Cubic
But,
meters is this specific unit here that I put on the chat. So when we talk about cubic meters, for example, it's very common to use with a specific kind of thing. For example, do you think it's weight, thickness,
I think, my opinion, wait.
weight? So
Yes.
let's check to see if it's weight. Actually, it's volume. So when we talk about the volume of something, of a liquid, of a gas, it's common to use cubic meters, but you can also use with other things, okay? And when we talk about foot and feet, Juliana,
I think length.
I
Length.
think length
Length. Length. I think.
actually is height. Height.
High. Okay.
And why is that? Okay, in English, they say, this
Eh,
crane is 20 feet, 20 feet high, or 20 meters high. So foot and feet is the unit people use in the USA, like pés de alturas. Vocês já ouviram? Ah, tem tantos pés de altura. So foot and feet we use specifically to talk about height, okay? Right? And this one,
right. But I think it's about the same of the centímetros, milímetros, de comprimento, altura, dá para usar em várias coisas. Ah, entendeu?
yes, yes.
É, assim,
Yeah, it's just to, like I said, it's just it is an exemplification to see what is common to some units,
yeah,
because
okay.
as you can say, we can use with many, but some of them are more common than the other ones. Algumas são mais comuns que as outras, né? Mas não significa que não possa ser utilizado com tudo. Só é mais comum de ser usado com aquelas especificamente, ok?
Okay.
E aí, é bom que a gente vai se divertindo aqui. And what about bar? When we talk about bar, Sérgio, do you know what we are talking about?
Yes, I think about the pressure.
Pressure, that's right. So we used to talk about pressure. Perfect. And pounds. Do you know, Rosana, what is pounds? You're muted, Rosana. Your microphone.
Okay. I think it's the thickness.
The thickness. Okay, so let's check if we can talk about thickness. Oh, sorry. All right, guys, let me come back here. So, pounds, we used to talk about weight.
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 Libras.
Yes, like libras. That's right. So it's a different unit they use outside, abroad, actually. And degrees Fahrenheit, Maria.
Temperature. Temperature?
Sorry?
Temperature?
Yes, perfect. Temperature. And micrometers, Sérgio.
Micrometers is like
Should talk about really small things.
I think it's volume.
Volume can be true. Let me put it here. Actually, it's thickness.
Thickness.
In this
Okay.
case, thickness. Okay, but you can use with everything. And percent, oh, Williana. We can use with all. But which one do you think? Oh, your microphone.
I don't know. Depend of the context, but percent. I don't know.
Usually, when we talk about liquids, for example, it's very common to use percentage.
Yes? Eu não conhecia. Tipo,
Okay.
X litros por cento é estranho. Líquidos ou gás ou
Uhum. Não, mas aí você falaria no sentido de, tipo assim, está
preenchido.
25% completo, está
Ah,
30%
ok, ok.
preenchido, nesse sentido
Yes,
aí.
in this context, I use the volume for
Yes,
volume.
discount. Yes, you can use for vol. You can talk about pressure. So depending on the way you're giving the information, you can use this percent. Like you said, it's not so common to say, você pode falar a respeito de tantos por cento para ser completo, se falta muito, se falta pouco. Então, nesse sentido aqui, a gente pode usar. Isso daqui foi mais para vocês se familiarizarem, to be familiar with these units because we will talk about them now. Okay. So when
Teacher,
we have,
just
yes,
a question. Did you said about cubic meters? When you want to talk about I can say about the square meters. True, is the right
yes,
word? If I
yeah, this,
have a metro cubic, no, not
yeah,
metro cubic, is like M versus M.
meters,
Square meter, yes, like this one I can
Metro
see
quadrado.
square meter.
yeah, yeah, square meters. That's
Okay,
right. So
okay.
it's very common to when we use these square meters, for example, when we are talking about the width of something. So, for example, about helideck, for example. So we can use these meters, these square meters and cubic meters.
Okay.
Actually, you can use with anything, like Liliana said. Depending on the context, you can use with anything. Okay. So now, do you have any more questions? Do you have any more questions about it? No, that's okay. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit the structure, okay? So when we talk about physical properties like weight, volume, pressure, and temperature, it doesn't change so much the way we talk in Portuguese. So it's easy to talk about this information, and we have many ways to talk about that. Okay, it's not just a specific way to talk about it. Okay, depending on the information, you can talk in different ways. So here we have two examples of each one. So, for example, when we talk about weight, can you read this example here, please, Rosanna?
Okay, wait. The container has 150, como que eu falo? kg.
Kilograms.
Kilogram. The container weighs 150 kilograms.
Okay, so as you can see, we have two different ways to talk about weight. We can say that something has or something weighs, ou
Weight.
seja, pesa. Okay, so we can use in these two different ways. And when we talk about volume, for example, Williana, can you read the examples?
Teacher, the two forms is correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
The tank has a capacity of 500 liters, and the tank holds 500 liters of water.
Excellent. Okay, so we have again two different ways that are correct to talk about volume. And we have about pressure. So can you read the example, Sergio, please?
Yes, the gas pressure is 7.5 bar. The compressor works at 150 psi.
Excellent. So we can talk about something that is or works in a specific pressure. Okay. And we also have the temperature here. So Maria, can you read the examples?
The temperature inside the bowl is 150 for 45 degrees,
45.
45 degrees Fahrenheit. The ambient the temperature is 85 degrees Celsius.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. So when we talk about temperature, okay, we also have different ways to do that. And if you take a look, it's like what we use in Portuguese. Okay, it doesn't change a lot. Okay, when we talk about physical properties, the structure, it doesn't change a lot. So now I need to show you something here. Just a moment. Okay. So we have different kinds of dials here, of gauges here. We have this one talking about cubic meters. We have this one specifically talking about weight. This one about pressure. This one, as you can see, is about temperature. This one is about a tank volume using the percent. And this one is about pressure too, because we have a PSI here. So the only thing that I need you to do is to report this information that you are seeing here, okay? So I need you to report these data, all right? So in number one, for example, we have these specific data. So Sérgio, how can you report this information in number one?
Um, Cubic meters. Let's see. Mm, Sorry, teacher. The name of the machine that makes the cubic meters. What is that? This machine
You
that.
can this one actually is a gauge. It's just like to show you the
Oh,
result, the
okay.
data, okay? So you can talk about the data. It's,
Okay.
okay?
The data of a data log is 5,004 cubic meters, or
Sure.
the dialog has 5,004 cubic meters.
Yes, that's right. So as you said, you can talk about that in different ways, Sergio.
Okay.
Okay, the focus here is on the number and the unit. Okay, so
Okay.
it's perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And here in number two, it's talking about weight. Okay, so how can you report this information, Maria?
Number two describe the instrument is 20, 20 aí é 15 ou 158, gente, eu também sei.
Remember, do you remember how to say same?
Eles têm, a point 82 kilograms.
Actually, 100,
One,
158 kilograms.
158 kilograms.
Excellent. Okay. So, because in this case, Maria, we don't have a point here. So you can read the whole number. It's not a decimal number here. Okay.
Mhm.
And this one, okay, we have a gauge talking about the pressure. Okay. So, Rosana, how can you talk about this information? Can you see the information here? What is the pressure?
The pressure is 24 75.
In this case, you don't consider this part, just this part here.
Okay. The pressure is 75.
It's
I think.
75.
I think.
Yes, excellent. It's 75, okay? And here in this case, Rosanna, Remember that when we talk about pressure, for example, you can say bar, you can say
But
psi. We don't know which is the unit here, but you need to use at least one. So you should say the pressure is 75 psi or 75 kilopascal. So you just need to
mhm.
choose a unit. So can you repeat the example, please?
Okay, the pressure is 75 bar.
75 bar. Excellent. And what about this one in number 4? It's talking about the temperature. So how can you tell this temperature, Williana?
Um, they show use my glasses missing. uh, send degrees Celsius.
Yes,
Yeah.
100. 100.
Yes, 100. Sorry.
No, for Portuguese with English. No.
Yes, 100 degrees Celsius.
Okay, great. Thank you. And what about number 5, Sergio? How can you report this information?
It's like gas.
As
But
you can consider that. It talks about the tank volume. It can be a gas, it can be a liquid.
okay, the tank volume is showing us uh, eight, 80 liters.
8 liters.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 liters. Yes, perfect. Okay, you're talking about volume, just perfect. And what about this one? This one is in PSI. So we are talking about pressure. So Maria, how can you report this information?
It's very difícil.
Ah, come on,
Uh,
Maria.
instrumento is uh, 300 PSI.
Yeah.
PSI.
It can be 300 psi. I don't know if it's 300 and more, but it's correct. The pressure is 300 psi. So why I'm showing you this, guys? Because when we talk about any kind of data, we need to talk about the unit. Okay, for example, if I say the pressure is 6, okay, but we need to give more information. Is 6 bar, okay, is 6 psi. We have different units, but we always need to use the units. For example, when we talk about money, and I say, it's 50. 50 what? 50 reais, $50,
Dollars.
50 euros. Yes. When we talk about a liquid, we need to say if we're talking about cubic meters, square meters. So this is why any information you need to report, you need to describe the unit too. It's very important. You can't just say the name, the number. For example, it's 75. It's 75 watts. So we need to specify what we are talking about. Okay. And as I told you, when we talk about physical properties, it doesn't change so much. But now I need you to take a look here because when we talk about dimensions specifically, there is something that changes, okay? So, for example, when we talk about the length of something, comprimento de alguma coisa, for example, the pipe length, 10 meters. We have this information about. And we have to report this information. Okay. When we are reporting an information about the length, it's funny, but we can't use the word length. Okay. We have to use the word that we use to describe these. And in this case, we use the word long. So, for example, in Portuguese, we would say A tubulação tem 10 metros de comprimento. Só que, ironicamente, a gente não usa a palavra comprimento, a gente usa a palavra característica dela, que seria a palavra long. So, in this case, we need to say the pipe is 10 meters long. So, as you can see, we don't use the word length. We use the word to describe this specific dimension, okay? So take a look here. When we talk about thickness, we use the word thick to describe. And here we have this information. Wall thickness, 5 centimeters. So think about, Sergio, if you needed to report this information, how can you say that in English using this word thick?
The wall is thick 5 centimeters.
Yeah, but almost there. You just
It's
need
five
to change.
centimeters thick. Yes, it's 5 centimeters
Yeah,
thick. Yeah.
that's right. The wall is 5 centimeters thick. E aí a gente traduz como a parede tem 5 centímetros de espessura. Apesar dessa palavra aqui significar espessura, a gente utiliza essa daqui, a palavra característica dela. Isso que eu quero que vocês vejam. Okay? Because when we talk about dimensions, sorry, we have these difference, okay? So when we talk about depth, okay, profundidade, we have this word deep to describe the profundidade. It's something deep, profundo. And we have this information about the sea. The sea depth, 500 meters, okay? So how can you report this information, Liliana?
The sea depth is 500 meters deep.
Yes, the sea, in this case, you remove the word depth. The sea is 500 meters deep. Okay.
Okay,
So,
the sea is okay.
so we don't use this word, we use the word, we relate to that. Okay, 500 meters deep. And
Okay.
when we talk about the width, we have this word to describe something wide. Okay, and we have this information. The helideck width 25 meters. Okay, 25 meters. So take a look on the examples, Rosanna, and tell me how can you report this information about the helideck?
Este... Esse é largura, não, né?
Yes.
Ah, ok. The boat has a...
Oh, but using this information here, the helideck with it.
Ok. The boat we they
With,
with a 15 meters.
I 25 meters.
Okay. With this information.
Yes, with this information and following these examples here. Okay. So, for example, you would have to say o helideck, o heliponto, desculpa, tem 25 metros de largura. How can you say that?
Okay. The helideck. I need to change the sentence.
You don't need to change, but in this case, when you're talking about the dimension, you have to use is instead of has. So you would say the helideck is, e aí a gente traduz como tem, okay? Like when we talk about the age, for example, I'm 30, eu tenho 30 anos. In this case, we use the verb to be, we don't use have, okay?
Okay. Então, helideck with 25 meters.
Almost there, but in this case, you don't need to use this word. You will use this word here, Rosanna, because these words actually, guys, are the names of the dimensions. São os nomes das dimensões. Ou seja, a gente tem um comprimento, a espessura, a profundidade, largura e altura. Porém, ironicamente, quando a gente vai falar assim, o, sei lá, o helideck tem 20 metros de largura. A gente não vai usar a palavra largura, essa length, a gente vai utilizar a long, que a gente entende desse mesmo sentido. Então, a gente sempre vai usar a palavra característica daquela medida. A gente não pode usar o nome da medida em si. É isso que eu quero que vocês vejam. A gente tem ela escrita assim, mas na hora da gente reportar, a gente utiliza a palavra característica dela. Então, igual aqui, helideck with, você não vai poder utilizar justamente essa palavra aqui, Rosana. You can use this one. You have to use this specific one.
Okay, wide. Helideck wide, 25 meters.
The helideck is 25 meters wide. So we put by the end of the sentence. The helideck tem 25 metros de largura. Okay? So it's in the same order we say in Portuguese, but we need to pay attention to these specific words here. Okay, because in this case, we need to use them, okay? And the derrick height, for example, is 100 meters. So, Maria, how can you report this information?
The dirt is 100 meters high.
High, exactly, perfect. So, the derrick is 100 meters high, e não height, okay? So, we need to pay attention to that. It's a little bit crazy, but it's how people use it, okay? So, if you know that length, we use long, thickness, we use thick, it's going to be easy. You just need to remember the word we use to describe these dimensions specifically, okay? And here we are going to have some practice right now because I have some sentences here with some information and I need you to report this information using the words we use to describe these specific units, okay? So for example, drill floor with 60 meters. So first of all, Sérgio, do you remember which word we use to describe the width?
Wide.
Wide. That's right, wide. So you have to have these in mind. So now, Sérgio, report this information for me using the word wide.
The the drill floor is 60 meters wide.
Perfect. The drill floor is 60 meters wide. Correct. Now, the well depth, 450 meters. When we talk about depth, profundidade, what is the word that we use to describe the depth, Williana?
Deep. Deep.
Deep. Perfect. So how can you report this information?
The well is 450 meters deep. Deep.
Yes, perfect. The well is 450 meters deep. Perfect. Now, when we talk about crane height, 150 meters. So think about, Rosana, when we talk about height, this is the name of the dimension, é o nome da dimensão, a altura. But what is the word we use to talk about height?
Okay, the crane height is 150 meters.
Almost there. Quase isso. In this case, we need to change a little bit, Rosana. When we talk about the height, altura, esse é o nome da dimensão, altura. Mas se eu quiser falar que algo tem tantos metros de altura, a gente vai utilizar a palavra high, que é muito parecida. So let me put it here on the chat, ó. High. So when we talk about height, This is the word we use to describe. And the name, this word, Rosana, we put by the end of the sentence. A gente põe no final da frase, igual que fosse no português. Vamos supor, o crane tem 150 metros de altura. Então, essa palavra altura, it comes by the end of the sentence. Okay? So think about it. How can you describe this information?
Okay. The crane is 150 meters high.
Excellent. That's right. So take a look. We don't use height. We use high. Okay. So we change a little bit. And when I talk about the drill string thickness, we have this information, 10 centimeters. So think about it, Maria. When we talk about the thickness of something, what word do we use to describe thickness?
The drill is 10 centimeters thick.
Yes, perfect. The drill string is 10 centimeters thick. Perfect. And the pipeline length here, we have 25 meters. So please, Sérgio, how can you report this information?
The pipeline is 25 meters long.
Excellent. The pipeline is 25 meters long. So as you can see, we have specific words to talk about these dimensions. So every time you need to report this information, remember that sometimes the name changes a little bit. So we have width, wide, okay? Depth, deep, height, high, thickness, thick, length, we have long. Okay, so when we are reporting information, we use these words to describe this information. Okay, did you understand this part?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you are gonna have an exercise about that. Okay, so try to do the exercise because it has some more examples for you to practice this specific thing. Okay. And now let's talk about something else. When we are making questions about this specific information, we have this way to talk, to ask in English. Okay, we can say how heavy, how high, how deep. It's very common for people to say this. For example, we have two specific ways to talk about this information. Let me show you here, for example. I'll put it here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we can literally ask something like, what is the height of the crane? This is how we used to ask in Portuguese. Qual é a altura do crane? A gente tá ali igualzinho no português, just like Portuguese. This specific question is correct, but it's not so common in English. It's very common for them to ask, how high is the crane? How high is the crane? So in Portuguese would be like, o quão alto ele é? How high is the crane? So I'm showing you these two different ways to ask because people like to use these two structures. The second one, it's more common, it's more natural to hear. So this is why I made this comparison so you can see the difference. So when we are asking some information about the dimension of something, it's very common to use how. How heavy is that? Quão pesado é isso? How high is that? Quão alto é isso? Ou seja, qual é a altura? How deep is the ocean? O quão profundo é o oceano? Ou seja, qual é a profundidade do oceano? So when we use this structure, we are asking these specific information. And here we have some examples. So, Rosana, can you read this question and the answer, please?
Okay. How heavy is this vessel? I am not sure, but I guess it is very heavy.
Okay, so how heavy? We're asking about the weight of this specific vessel. Okay, and what about this example here, Maria? Can you read, please?
How high is the scaffold?
Scaffold.
Scaffold. It is in terrain 11 meters high. Meters
12 meters high.
12
Okay,
meters high.
excellent. And what about this one, oh, Williana?
How deep is the ocean here?
Yes.
I don't know, but I think it's at least 300 meters deep.
Excellent. Thank you. So when we are asking about this specific information, it's very common to hear how deep, how high, how strong, how heavy. And
How
as you can
long?
see, how long? Yes, correct. How long? Exactly. So we use how to talk about many things, okay? Depending on the subject, we use with many things. And
We
here,
teacher for people you can ask it about how high are you? It's more common.
how tall are you? It's common, but they do not use the word
High.
high. High is usually used with objects, machines.
Okay.
So when we are talking about the height of someone, we say tall. How tall are you?
Um,
Or how short are you? Quão baixo você é? So, in
yes.
fact, we are talking about altura. Só que é um jeito engraçado de perguntar, né? Mas a gente está perguntando qual é a informação daquilo, né? Qual é a altura. Então, pode sim, Sérgio. You can. Okay? So here we have some questions about this information here. For example, how wide is the Panama Canal? And we have this information here. Okay, so how can you answer this question, Sergio? How wide is the Panama Canal?
The Panama Canal is 82 kilometers wide.
Excellent. That's right. Now, Sergio, can you read this question here? And Rosana answers the question.
How deep is your love? Oh, no, no, it is the music. How deep is this part of the ocean?
How deep is your love? I know this song.
How deep is this part of the ocean?
Oh, Rosana, your microphone. I can hear you.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
Is the 670 kilometers
Yes, kilometers deep.
deep? Yes.
Isso aí. Que aí você vai falar que tem essa quantidade de profundidade, kilometers deep. Okay?
Mhm.
And now, Rosana, read the next question and Maria is going to answer you.
Okay. How high is that floor platform?
Ah, gente, eu lembro o seguinte real, não foi citar. Desculpa.
No, no problem. I ask you sorry for that because it's really small. So I'm going to put it here, the information, Maria, is this number here.
200 meters.
It's 200 meters. What? What is the dimension?
Um,
Take a look on the question. You have your answer right here. How high is the floating platform? So
20,
it's
200 meters high.
perfect. That's right, 200 and meters high. Now, please, Maria, ask this question to Williana.
How thin is that pipe?
That's fine.
The pipe is 1 inches thick. Think.
Perfect.
Oh, think is thick.
Yes, that's right. You have to put the thick by the end of it. Just perfect. Now, Williana, make this next question to Sergio, please.
How long is the deck? Is this deck?
This deck is 105 meters long.
Perfect. Just perfect. And Sergio, read this one to Rosana, please.
How heavy is this chopper?
This shopper have 1,000,000 on 500
1,000.
1,000
1,000
sorry 1,500 kilogram.
kilograms. That's right, 1,500 kilograms. Okay. So in this case, we can use heavy, but we can remove it because kilograms, we already know we are talking about weight. Okay. So
Mhm.
as you can see, we have specific words to talk about dimensions. When we talk about physical properties, we don't need to oh, sorry. We don't need to worry about that when we talk about physical properties, temperature, weight, no problem. But when we talk about specifically dimensions, so we need to have these in mind, okay? These specific words to talk about it, okay?
Mhm.
And guys, I know at first is a little bit confusing, but did you understand? Is there something you want to ask me?
Yes, I stand this.
You understood?
Yes.
Okay, great,
My
great. So
my
after
opinion is difficult, but instant.
yeah, at first it can be a little difficult, but if you practice, if you see these a lot, you will remember for sure. And this is why I prepared some specific exercise talking about this subject. So try, if you have time, try to do these exercise because we have these specific subject there. Okay, so it's exercise number 11, if I'm not wrong. And if you have any problems to open the file, just tell me that I can help you. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
right? All right, guys. So I think this is it. This is the end of the class. We saw a lot of information in this class, and next class we will talk about numbers again, but in a different kind of area. Okay. So thank you so much for being here again. I'm sorry if I made you confusing, but I promise you it's going to get better. Okay, it's not
Mhm.
difficult. All right.
Okay.
All
So
right.
Thank
thank
you.
you so
Thank
much
you, teacher.
again.
Thank you,
Bye
Bruna.
bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.
See
Bye-bye.
you
Goodbye.
next
Bye.
week.
See you.
Bye
Bye.
Bye.
bye.